man.
That's right.
Spiritual man.
That's right.
And they all know that's one of the things I say. If you're gonna vote for somebody, you gotta vote for somebody who's godly. Because if they Godward, then they'll be people. Because we try to change politics to people things.
Yep.
One of the things I know you already heard that we specialize in and been doing for about the past 3 months is we got a campaign called Unified Dosing. In our Unified Dosing campaign, I'm asking candidates to help me with different issues, but also I'm looking for like somebody that's willing to do teamwork. Like you make commissioner, would you be willing to have deputy commissioner? A deputy commissioner over ex-federal, a deputy commissioner over house, deputy commissioner over education, deputy commissioner. It's teamwork.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Commissioners are elected to serve the people. We have about 72,000 citizens in Dothan. And if we have 72,000 people show up to every meeting, we don't have the facilities to do that. So a commissioner's job is to step back away from these meetings and listen to the citizens and what they want and what their thoughts are, what their concerns are, what's most important to them. So it's no different than the structure. I like what you're proposing because it's no different. I'm a businessman. I own a business. It's no different.
What kind of business you own? Get your plug in.
Property management. I own Open Key Property Management.
What is that, real estate?
Yeah, real estate. I manage rental property.
Okay, okay. You need somebody to manage your rental property. There go Josh.
That's right. So, but it's no different than a business structure. It's not like we have the owner of the business and then 20 employees that are all even. So there's hierarchy in business. You got your owner, you got your the people that oversee different departments. So what you're proposing kind of sounds like a business structure where if you have a concern about housing or if you have a concern about infrastructure, contact these people, and then those people can pass that information along to me.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to having kind of my right hand people who are helping me, because it's hard for me to listen. I'm gonna try my best. It's hard for me to listen to every single citizen in District 4.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this thing would ring every second, every day, which is fine. I'm ready for that. But what having a team of people that help me do is they can help me get information, make decisions, help keep me in the right path as to what the citizens of Dothan want.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I like that.
The other thing I want to ask you is if you make Commissioner District 4, my question to you is how would you help, or how could you see yourself helping District 1 and 2?
Yeah, I think I tell people all the time, there's not a shortage of projects. There's not a shortage of projects and issues and things that we want to do in Dothan. That list is a million items long. It's a million. The limiting factor.
Don't start.
What's the limiting factor, Doctor? What's the limiting factor?
There is none.
Money.
Well, money. But see, let's not even go there, because if we go there, I'm gonna go on my tax. Because when we spend $6.5 million on pickleball,
yeah,
$6 million on doggo, and we got a homeless problem, not 200-300 people, like was said at a forum the other night. Our homeless problem is 1,300 people.
Yeah.
Now, 400 of those are children.
Yeah.
Children. And we got a 43% poverty rate in Dothan.
Yep.
With people making less than $32,000 a year. And we spending millions and millions of dollars for brick and mortar, not people.
Yeah.
I got a problem with that.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But what I was saying is we got a list of a million things that we want to do. And what we have to prioritize that list based on the amount of money that we have. I am not a proponent. I do not want to raise taxes. Like I mentioned, if you were at that forum, I've talked to a lot of people that are struggling financially right now.
Exactly.
And anything we do not need to make that struggle more severe. If anything, we need to lighten their load a little bit.
That's right.
So we have to be very wise and very methodical when it comes to reviewing our budget, making cuts where needed, adding funds where needed. So back to your original question, District 1 and District 2. I do not have a good grasp on all of the issues that they struggle with. I know there's poverty. I know there's homelessness. I know there's infrastructure concerns. At the end of the day, collaborating, listening to ideas on how to address these issues, but it comes down to resources. I mean, honestly,
Money.
honestly, it comes down to money. Like, we have to, if we want to address the issues in District 1 and District 2, money has to be spent. So, I know the major issues, but when you get granular and you get in, I have not spent a ton of time in District 1 and District 2.
In order to see it. What's your vision for District 4?
Yeah, I mean, again, the top three issues that I hear when I talk to citizens of District 4, and I've been talking to citizens of District 4 every single day for the last 6 months. The top three issues are my wallet. I don't want my wallet to continue to take a hit.
That's right.
Children in Dothan, and investing in them, making sure we're setting them up to succeed. And then 3, infrastructure, specifically construction and traffic and just all the orange barrels we're seeing right now.
What you feel about, how you feel about your opponent donating his whole salary to the city of Dothan? I don't have clarity on how he's donating it. No, I got clarity on how, but where he's donating it at. Is he donating it to a nonprofit?
Yeah, he is.
Okay. How do you feel about that?
I applaud him. Kudos to him for doing that. I don't want to turn this into
no, we're not bashing.
Yeah, no. But at the end of the day, if that is a tagline he wants to use to try to win votes, then awesome. I've been here for 11 years. I've served on the board at Wiregrass Habitat for Humanity. I was a board chair there.
You was a board chair at Wiregrass
Habitat for Humanity. I was on the board for 5 years. I was the board chair for 2 years.
Wow.
I've served hours at the Restore. I've served hours helping build houses, making repairs at houses. I've given a lot of my resources and funds through Habitat. I've been on the board at Wiregrass Rehabilitation Center for the last 6 years. I was the board chair last year there. I care deeply about the community. I've been a Dothan Rotarian for the last 8 years. I'm the immediate past president of Dothan Rotary Club.
So you putting your work in. I
started the Outlaw Club, which is Rotary's efforts on attracting young people.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, I'm very civic minded. I love giving back to the community. I love getting my hands dirty. Like I said, I just took my 8-year-old son because I want him to have that same passion. But
I might get you to see if the Rotary let me back in.
Absolutely, come on, man. Come on.
But you've been very, very busy, and
Yeah.
one of the things that when I studied you, and I call Ricky. I'm gonna call Ricky about everybody.
Yeah.
One of the things that he told me that you very, very centered spiritually.
Yes, that's right.
With your church and all.
That's right.
And so one of the things I want to ask you is with your business.
Yeah.
I know that you don't like to talk about this, but I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Sure.
You make a lot of donations and giving to the community with your business, I heard, that you do anonymously.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say we just started Open Key Property Management about 3 years ago, and we're still, we're scratching and clawing. I started that. So my background is engineering. I stepped away from the city. I worked at the city in 2021.
Yeah.
I stepped away because I started buying rental property. and that took off, and I found that I really enjoy that and love that business. And so we got up to a pretty good sized portfolio. I had some people working for me directly. And so we already were an in-house property management company pretty much. So we just started managing property for other people. So, yeah, I mean, I do like to give of my time, my energy, my resources to my church, to the community. So yeah, I mean, we do like to give and be generous. But
so let's talk about this. So
sure.
we got a homeless problem
That's
in
right.
Dothan, right?
That's right.
We just mentioned about 1,300 people, 400 of them are children. You got properties. Let me tell you the biggest problem we got now. Housing Authority got about $1.2 million over there. They let Seach run it. I founded Seach in 2008.
Okay.
And, you know, I helped Lillian Zawalski and them formulate the ARCH, Alabama Rural Coalition, 2003 to 2008.
Yep.
I told them I wanted to do it.
I worked with them.
Okay,
Yep.
so you know you guys
Yep.
fact check. But anyway, we have a problem now with people getting housing. Even though Seach is willing to pay the 3 months rent in the deposit to get them in, you got landlords that saying no.
Yeah.
We don't want to let them in because how they gonna pay their rent after the 3 months? And then a lot of people coming in and tearing up our house. Now, me and Larry Johnson, he's the one that developed those condominiums over there on Main Street.
Yeah.
Everybody thought he was crazy, but look at them. They still,
Yeah.
they great. They look good. Anyway, so we developed what's called a restoration. Restoration Dothan, you know, and it was adopted by the chamber and all that. That needs to come back because he's an architect, and his thing was the brick and mortar. We was going to do it with the people because the people got to be. You can't say trained. The people got to be. Ashley looked at me real crazy then. The people got to be educated.
Yeah.
On how to live and maintain.
Sure.
Such housing.
Yep.
So that they don't tell people how, so that
That's
they don't, so landlords will be more
That's right.
accepting.
That's right.
You being a property owner and all that, running for commission.
Yeah.
What would be your suggestions to us?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would say pursue that because I think that it hasn't been my experience. Let me back up a little bit because I have to wear 2 different hats. I have to wear my business hat and I have to wear a public hat. And I'm not saying that I'm 2 different people, but I have to think out of 2 different sides.
I wear about 5, so
yeah.
just go ahead.
So
media.
I want to be completely transparent. So my experience, I have about 35 properties right now that I own that are occupied by Section 8 tenants, voucher holders, and I've been doing it now for about almost 5 years. And I have other properties that are occupied by non-voucher holders. And in my opinion, based on my experience, which is pretty good experience, the people that are voucher holders that are Section 8 tenants do not tear up the property any worse than other tenants. And so I've talked with Mr. Sam Crawford quite a bit, and I want to be an advocate to other landlords like myself and explain to them, hey, this perception of, you know, that a Section 8 tenant is going to come in and wreck your property, that's not true. That's not true.
Yeah. Well, I was asking, was it discriminatory? Because I was thinking they just trying to, you know, throw one of them keywords about black folks and say black folks tear up your property, because that's not true.
Nope.
You understand it don't matter about black and white when it comes to your property. The other thing I want to ask you, how do you feel about a citizens review board?
A citizens
review board that's going to really, what they'll do is they'll monitor, oversee like the police and their actions and this and that and the other. But they mainly is to build a cohesion between law enforcement and the community.
Yeah, I mean, any effort we have to be more transparent, communicate better, work unified better, I'm all in favor of. At least I will listen to the ideas. And if you know, if it's something, I'm the type of person that if you sell me on an idea and you convince me that that it's a good idea, I'm gonna champion it for you.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if again, we probably don't have time to get into all the nuts and bolts of what you're talking about, but anytime we can take a group of citizens and be a liaison to another body of people, we have to do a better job. We live in a culture right now that is divided. If you think this way and I think the opposite, then we're not going to get along. We hate each other. And that's 30 years ago. That wasn't the case. We could have discussions about the differences, and we'd walk away, shake each other's hand, and still be friends.
Right.
Today, we live in such a divided culture where if you think something's cold and I think something's hot, then we walk away with each other and we go to our groups of people and talk junk about each other.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, most people, they try to make it about race. They try to make it about culture, the classes. My main thing is classes. One of the things that people ask, Glasgow, Dr. Glasgow, why you fight so much for people that's in prison, this and that and the other? Because to me, it's the same ism that's based on racism.
Yeah.
And it's classes. Don't call me no ex-felon. Don't call me no ex-offender, no ex-con. I'm not none of that. I'm a person that went to prison, a person that had a felony. Guess what? Now we got a president got 34 felonies. So now all of a sudden it's acceptable and more palatable. But back in the days it wasn't. So my thing is to ask all of the people that's running for candidacy, how could you unify Dothan? What would your efforts be to make a more unified Dothan? So we won't have a white Dothan, a black Dothan, and then y'all white people don't understand. There's a third Dothan, which is a black on black Dothan.
Yeah.
Y'all hear about it because y'all hear black folks talk to y'all about other black folks. But y'all don't realize the dynamics of it are real severe.
Yeah.
You'll go over there and Sam will talk about me and I'll talk about Sam.
Yeah.
And you don't want to mess with him. Don't go over to Glasgow. He done been to prison, this, that, and other, but you don't want to mess with Sam. He cheating on, all kinds of stuff. So the thing about it is, how do we get past all that? If you running for District 4, how do you get past that to where, I'm not just running for District 4.
Yeah.
District 4 is my first concern, but it's not my only concern.
Yeah.
My whole concern is Dothan.
Yeah. So if you go, I'm trying to think of the book of the Bible. You probably know better than I do, but it talks about one church, and it talks about unity and Ephesians. Yeah, exactly. Ephesians chapter 2 is like my favorite chapter in the whole Bible. So how do we become one Dothan? How do we become a more unified Dothan?
Mm-hmm.
I think it is being willing to sit down to the table and have different people who look different, who their bank account looks different, their job looks different. It has to be. We have to collaborate. We have to be willing to talk to each other about the issues and talk to each other not just about the issues but about the solutions.
That's it.
Because my background is engineering. It's not hard to find problems. Problems are everywhere.
And one of the things that people don't understand is the person that's closest to the problem is closest to the solution.
Absolutely. But a lot of times, the people who are very vocal on the problems, they don't offer solutions.
Mm.
And so the real value comes from proposing solutions and then taking action to execute those solutions. So, I think we live in a world right now. Again, I'm pointing to my phone here, and we live in a Facebook community, and it's easy to go sit behind a phone or a keyboard and type out and raise all these issues and problems that we're having. But the real value comes from being solution minded. So yeah, I'll stop there.
So your last and final words, you got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Josh Chapman, why should the people of District 4 vote for you to help the city of Dothan by being on the city council?
Yeah. Okay. Going back to my experience, I'm an engineer. Engineers solve problems. That's what an engineer does. So identifying problems, coming up with solutions, and I've talked to you a lot about my heart to serve.
Right.
So my heart to serve means I don't mind rolling up my sleeves and getting in the mix and getting dirty and not only coming up with the solutions, but making sure we're taking the steps, taking the action to address the solutions.
Wow.
So my professional background, I own a small business, so I'm pro business. I want to make doing business in Dothan very easy. If we make doing business in Dothan very easy, then we're going to attract industry, which means better jobs for everybody. My professional background, very involved in the community, have a heart to serve Dothan, want to continue to make Dothan better. I have an 8-year-old son and a 6-year-old son, and I want them to be proud to be from Dothan. And I want them, when they start settling down 20 years from now, I want them to want to move back to Dothan.
I just can't let it go, Ashley. I'm sorry, I can't let it go. You got to give me a minute. When you say you want to have businesses and bring more businesses, because more that'll bring industries and then people get better jobs.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
We got a lot of businesses here, and we got the rate that I'm gonna keep going back here. 43% poverty rate here. That's almost half of Dothan.
Yeah.
That's almost half of Dothan, and we got more businesses, and we concerned about more buildings than we are people.
Yeah.
I'm very concerned about that.
Mm-hmm.
Very concerned. Because if you have a city that's more concentrated on business than it is people, then it's going to become consuming from it.
Yeah. So those people that are in poverty, how much are they making?
Less than $32,000 a year.
So that comes out to $15 an hour.
But no, they only getting like what? What's the minimum wage now? 10?
No, $7.25.
$7.25. We're still below any other state in the country when it comes to minimum wage.
Yeah, well, $32,000 a year comes out to $15 an hour. So it could be $750.
You see how you do the numbers that quick? You're a real engineer.
No.
Go ahead.
So it might be 2 people making income in the house, making minimum wage, but if you bring in more industry, if you bring in better paying jobs, then that person who's making $32,000 could make $50,000 or $60,000, and that takes them out of poverty.
Mm-hmm.
And also, too, if you bring in better industry, that means, just like you said, that you did some homework on me and that I like to give back to the community. Businesses are incentivized by
what?
By donating to the community. So there's tax benefits. So if you bring in new business, then that means more investment into the community.
You might need to get downtown and help them out down there because their money, about $18 billion, went towards some things that had nothing to do with people, poverty, or the homeless. So it might need a little help down there, sir.
Yeah.
And since you can do them figures in your head like that,
yeah.
Get on down there, man, and help the folks out.
Yeah.
Josh Chapman, y'all.
Yeah.
Listen, go ahead and give us your last and final word.
Yeah. So my main thing is, y'all, like you said before, I'm seeking election in District 4, but it's not a District 4 commissioner; it's a city commissioner. So I'm here to serve all 72,000 citizens. If you drive up and down the road right now, you might see a billboard. It's got my cell phone number on it, and that's pretty bold. But anybody who's driving around Dothan right now has access to call me. And if you want to share any ideas, share your concerns, share what you're passionate about, my number is 334-232-9455. My main thing is I'm available. I want to hear. I want to talk. I want to know. Like I said before, I haven't spent much time in District 1 and District 2, but once I'm elected, I want to hear from District 1 and District 2.
We're gonna change that. I got your phone number.
Yeah, and I want to know what the people who live in there are dealing with day to day.
I'm gonna show you.
So
I'm gonna take you on the show and show you.
Yeah, please do.
Josh Chapman, y'all. We thank God for you, man, and good luck on your run, man.
Thank you.
I believe you're gonna help us out. And if you don't win, go down there and become a team player,
Sure.
man, and help us out, because we need help.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
gotta come out of this.
I've been in Dothan 11 years. I have a heart to serve, even without the title, the past 11
There
years.
you
So
go.
that's not going to change.
All right.
Yeah.
God bless.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Josh Chapman. Next up, we got Mr. Wes Allen is going to come sit before us. And if you have not heard anything else interesting, this is going to be interesting talking to Wes Allen. We had a couple of people that's challenging him that wanted to call him, what did they call you, Mr. Allen? Old Dothan. That's what they called you, Old Dothan. And I asked them what was Old Dothan. They said the good old boy. I said, well, Wes Allen, the good old boy? You know, I like that to me, but anyway, that's what they said. So anyway, we got him here, not to defend himself by any means. He's a grown man, but to speak his piece on why he's running for chairman of the Dothan City School Board, chairman. And I want to talk to you about that. So first of all, tell us about yourself.
My name's Wes Grant. You said Adams, but I'll go by Grant.
Yeah,
But
Wes Grant. I'm sorry, y'all.
I'm sorry.
Keep talking about Adam.
I
I'm
am
thinking
old
about
enough.
Adam. I'm thinking about somebody that's kidding you, but we'll talk about
I
that later.
don't know. Yes, I am from Dothan. My family's been here since 1909. My father was mayor from 1973 to 1981. So yeah, you can call me Old Dothan, but that really doesn't mean anything. I've been in education for 25 years. My wife was in education for 20 years. I've been in property management for the last 14 years. And I have spent my whole life, I love Dothan. I could have left here plenty of times and gone other places, but our family's remained here because, for that one reason, we love Dothan and I want our school system. I know how important it is for our kids to get an education, kids from every part of the city. I spent a lot of time in a lot of different areas. I am one of those people that I go to the areas you're talking about.
Just
I'm
one
not-
or two.
All of them. All of them.
Okay.
I go, my wife and I go all the time. We do everything we can to help people that need help. And that is one of the things, I'm proud of that. I'm very proud of that. I'm proud of that because I learned that from two people. One is my father, and the other is Jesus Christ. And that is the most important, two important people that trained me to do this and to be a good leader.
When you was over the Dothan, what was that, the downtown group or whatever that was?
Historic Preservation Commission, yeah.
Yeah, they there was some problems came up with this lady, what's her name, Ruth Nelson,
Yes.
and the housing projects and all that. A lot of people who text me, no, you got Wes Grant coming on, ask somebody that. Could you go ahead and clear that up? What happened with that?
Yeah, well, and Ruth and I are good friends. I mean, we talked a lot about all that stuff, and that was actually the DDRA that was doing that, and
Okay.
we were the ones that
Going down.
right. That was how we
Right.
party, yeah.
Yeah.
And so we had and that was a very contentious thing. The whole thing with the Historic Preservation Commission is to look at buildings that can remain in place that are historical, but at the same time to build new things. And so that the Saints Apartments is what you're talking about. And,
Right.
Yeah. And it had become run down, it had become bad shape. What ended up happening, it ended up catching on fire and burning down. Or not burning down, but burned up so bad they had to redo it. So
That's what happened there.
Right.
Why do you feel like you should be chairman of the board?
because first of all, I've got a lot of experience. I got education experience. One thing this board needs is good business leadership. And I know that I can do that. And just leadership in general. I have been on I've been president of Alabama Realtors, and that is one of my proudest things I've ever done. And I followed, my dad was president of Alabama Realtors, my sister was. And that is an extremely difficult position working with 20,000 people.
I'm gonna tell you something. You know,
Okay.
this is Dr. Glasgow. It is raw, right? And you know I keep it raw.
Oh,
I don't filter, right? I was very, very shocked and surprised. And I looked over there at Anita and all them. When you jumped up and it was clapping in the rain when we got our first black superintendent, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
Ashley, I'm telling you, I was shocked. I was like, who that white dude over there shouting louder than us, right?
Yeah.
And when I seen it was you, and they said that's Wes Grant, I said, they say Wes Grant is racist. Why is he out shouting us? And it blew my mind. I was in the state of awe. I was like, wow, look at this dude, man.
Well, here's the deal. It doesn't matter what color you are. I want the best person for the job. I met that man. I was proud to meet him. I go back. I could go way back. My dad was the best teacher about this anyway. Him and John Glasgow were great friends. They went in on the commission together in 1973. They taught each other before the election.
Oh yeah, that's right. Your dad was the mayor at that time.
Yes.
Because Jimmy Wofford did an interview with John Glanton, and he mentioned, okay, go ahead, because he the one took them to Washington.
Their family,
That's right.
Our families are still good friends. We still handle their property. We still do their stuff. I learned from my dad how to treat people. I learned from him, how do you treat people? Not just people that look like me, but everybody. But I'll tell you something else, and this is something, because you brought this up a minute ago when I was listening to Josh. I did a Bible study recently on a book called Compelling Community.
A book?
I did a Bible study on a book. It's
On a book, yeah, called
Compelling Community.
Uh-huh.
That's about the Capitol Hill Baptist Church in Washington, D.C. Look it up. It is one of the most diverse churches you'll ever see. One of the things they talk about in that book is that sometimes we try so hard to become diverse that we screw it up. Would you agree with that?
Exactly.
Okay. So what this book says, and it's mainly talking about church, but it's called community for a reason. If you show each other how much you love each other within a community or within a church, however, if you show each other how much you love each other, then people want to become part of that.
Exactly.
They come from outside of the community, outside of the church. They want to be a part of that. So that's my thing. We've got to show people in every part of Dothan how much we love them. And I'm telling you, I am not afraid to go anywhere in Dothan. I do it almost every day. I work with the housing authority on all their stuff. Some of this money that came down from Jeff Bezos. We've been working on that to help people get into a place that could end up being homeless. We just got money for 3 different places.
We need some of that money over here, sir. No, for real.
Yeah, well,
we got a lot of homeless people.
Right.
We feed about 300 a day and drop down to 200 now to pick back up. We got houses that need reconstruction so we can start putting people in it. They just been sitting there the whole time I was locked up. And my wife didn't handle it long. So we need to talk about that.
And then it actually when COVID hit, I was able to get a lot of money for people because people couldn't work.
Right.
So even before they got the money, $800 a week, which is crazy because they I think it's great that they got it, but there was more than some of them making. Then when they went back to work, they weren't making that much. So
our schools, man. Mr. Grant, look, our schools right now, we got the math up, we got the reading up a little bit.
Right.
We got white flight, all of them going to private schools, Christian academies and all that. So mostly the schools consist of now Dothan, Alabama, are black kids. We do what's called M&M, mentor and monitor. We monitor, we mentor them, but we also monitor what's going on with them at the house. We could go in their house and a little bit more familiar with the people. You being chairman of the school board, how could you help in those areas? Bringing up the academics, monitoring what's going on with the children in order to help with this poverty stricken rate that we have.
Yeah, I think we've got to get back into the communities. We've got to have meetings in the communities where people feel comfortable and go to where they are and talk to parents. And I teach 4th, 5th, and 6th grade Sunday school. And I also keep the 2nd and 2-year-old class of Sunday school periodically.
You keep the 2-year-old?
I do.
Well, I got a bad one for you. Well, she's 3 now.
Sit them on.
Oh my God, my daughter. But anyway, go ahead.
They love to be read to. So we've got to find out what can we do to help these parents to do these things. You know what's the problem? That thing you hold in your hand right there, that phone? That phone is a huge problem.
Well, that's the new babysitter.
I know it. So that's not right. And I don't matter if you're rich or poor, it don't matter. Everybody uses that phone as a babysitter. These kids, when I walked in the classroom about 2 weeks ago, those kids ran over to me and brought me a book because they knew I liked reading to them. I sat there and read to them. And so they were, but not just reading to them, showing them what I'm reading so they can see it. We've got to start. It's going to start early. It's got to start early. What happens is, and I've seen this, the gap is there when they get to kindergarten. The gap grows bigger because the kids that don't have what they need before they start kindergarten get frustrated. The other ones, so we've got.
I got 2 young white teachers that work at Jeremy Fang. They was talking to me about how the grants go to Holland and all that, and the budget got lowered at Jeremy Fang. They said if the money, the grants and stuff was distributed equally and would go to Jeremy Fang, they could do more with those children and prevent when they become teenagers from all the
I
shit
totally
and all that.
agree with that. There
You
should
agree
be,
with
oh, yeah, there should not be any discrepancy between one school and another. They should all be the same. No, that is.
What
that has to happen.
differences would you make as chairman?
Well, that's another thing. You just got to look at the whole budget, and you got to make sure that every school is treated the same, period. I mean, that's the main thing. The problem with the budget is there's so much for salaries, and so the parts you have left over. We also have to.
It's top heavy.
It's part of the top heavy, but that's the truth, with most budgets. So I was looking at the city of Dothan budget too. Theirs is not as top heavy because they don't have as, but the school system is very top heavy, right?
And that budget comes from the city. A lot of people don't understand that. They think it's a separate budget, but it still comes from the city. Children's will be here right after you, so he's going to come with some receipts and all.
Right.
And we're going to talk about what happened with Cole. I hope. I'm going to ask. But anyway, when people look at, they got to vote. And this is the overall, all of Dothan. There's no district. Two things that you vote next Tuesday, right? And that's the mayor and the chairman of the board is voted by everyone.
That's right.
Okay? There's no district separation when it comes to the mayor and the chairman of the board. Now we're talking about the chairman over our schools. His opponent was here. She talked. We pray for her father right now. Very good, nice young lady and all. But we are talking to you, West Grand. You've been in Dothan forever and a day. You know Dothan. I need you to tell us right now from the West Grand version what you could do as chairman of the board to not only help in that position, but Dothan as a whole.
So the worst problem with this board right now is the division. And there's a huge division in that board. I'm not on either side. I'm on the side of the people, on the side of the children, on the side of the
Do
parents.
you think you'll be able to bring that
I
together?
do, and I'll tell you why. Leadership is not about just having the name and being out there doing all this. Leadership is about bringing people together. I'm telling you, I have done that. I have been on boards that were split and then been able to pull them back together. If there's nothing else I do good, I can do that. I was on that, like we talked about, that was a huge split on the historic preservation commission.
There was a big split.
Yes, and so you look at that now and look at the way that was handled. And Ed Vaughn and I, listen, Ed Vaughn, Ed Vaughn, me and Ed went at it a couple of times, but I'm telling you this, we went at it privately.
They went at it privately though.
We did not go at it publicly.
I have
love
privilege.
Ed. So you know what I mean? So I do that. I don't put it out there on Facebook. I don't attack people on Facebook ever. I do it. I work with people privately, and people respect that. Leadership is about integrity and character. And those are two things I know that I can offer the school system, period.
What is your job as board chair? What is your job?
Really, as board chair, you're to lead that board, and your chair, your job as the board chair is not to run your mouth and talk. Your job is to listen to the other 6 people on that board, listen to work with the superintendent. Now that's very important. You've got to stay close with the superintendent, and I'm excited about Garrett Askew coming in here. If I get elected, I'm gonna call him next week and we're gonna talk. I've talked to people at the city. I've talked to them about the fact that we need to have a really better relationship with them. I know they're ready for it. This man needs to be, when he gets to Dothan, he needs to be welcomed with open arms. And I know he's going to do a great job.
You know my question though,
Right.
and I'm gonna ask Childers when he get here. He's coming right after you. 2 things. One is, was he afraid to run against you? That's one. I know you can. My second thing is, I'm gonna ask them. They talk about and they split on it. Oh, we want somebody local. We want somebody local. Why didn't they get Dr. Charles Corbin? If you wanted somebody local,
I know Charles.
you know what I mean?
You know what? I was sitting by the night that they came down with the final 2.
I was
there. So when they came down with the final 2, the first person I went over to was Charles Corbin.
Yeah.
And he said, look, I said, man, Charlie, you're in the final 2. And he said, hey, this might be a blessing. And that's exactly what he told me. He said, so
That's it. That's it. He's very much. His integrity. I respect that, man. I don't respect too many men now, but I respect him. I don't respect too many people. But anyway, Dr. Killer Sharpie, Glasgow, it is wrong. Listen, West Point, you become chairman August 6th. You the chairman. What's the first thing you're going to do?
Start communicating with the other board members, start communicating hopefully with the new superintendent. Hopefully by then he's, at least, I don't know if they're still working on his contract and all that stuff.
But we're going to see tomorrow.
We're going to see tomorrow. And I'll be in another thing tomorrow night, so I'm not going to be able to go tomorrow night.
Right. Got 2 things going at one time.
Just talking, one of the things is you got to talk with your people one-on-one. When I was president of Alabama Realtors, I made phone calls to all of the people on my executive committee as much as possible, just not to say, hey, this is what I need you to do, but tell me what you need me to do. That's the most important. I've got to know how they feel, and if I need to talk to them about something, my dad was really good at that with John Glasgow and with all the other commissioners whenever he was there. One thing about my dad, when he lost that election, when he ran for third term and lost, he didn't quit serving Dothan. He continued to serve Dothan, just in different ways. I feel the same way. If I don't win this election, I'm not going to stop serving Dothan. I'm not going to stop loving Dothan.
Well, I can say that I know that you're trying to help me with the homeless situation and all, even offering up some of your houses for people that would severely need to get off the street. I can say that much because I know that. But West Grant, the other thing I want to ask you is this. How can you unify the schools? That's one of the biggest things that I'm looking at too. No one talks about that. I notice everyone just shies away from that. How can you do that?
And that's not easy to do. You know that. I just talked about that. But we've got to be able to, again, going down, having meetings in every community that we can. And I'm talking about not just at the school itself. A couple years ago, and I know a lot of people talk about Phyllis Edwards, but I'll tell you one thing she did do good. She started having meetings out in the community.
Well, she was doing the merger now.
She was out. No, she did that. Yeah, there were some things she did absolutely wrong. One thing she did do.
What she did?
She had meetings out in the community. You know what the problem was?
That's right.
Nobody showed up.
Well, why?
I don't know. That's
well,
what
let me tell you
why.
People don't feel like they have a church. When we go out here canvassing, knocking door to door for people to vote, get registered to vote, come on the vote and all that. They said, for what?
Yeah. I went to Kevin Dorsey. I saw him out eating lunch one day, and I said, Kevin said, hey, he was having a community meeting over at, I don't remember where it was. It was over
Walton Park.
Yeah. No, it wasn't Walton Park. It was the other place over there. I can't remember. But it was over there off of, whatever. It was by the recreation center over there.
I got you.
So I went over there. Yeah, went over there. My wife and I both went. There were 2 other people there. That's it.
Wow.
So we've got to figure that out. We've got to find a way, because
people feel like their voice is not being heard.
That's
you understand what I'm saying? People feel like their voice is not being heard. That's why I do this show, so that they can get educated and their voice can be heard and they can express it. As a matter of fact, 334-446-3812. 334, Bridget, help me out. Put that on there. 334-446-3812. 334-446-3812. Call in. Let's talk to West Grant and see where he's at, man. He's trying to go for chairman of the board. He's going to be the chairman over our children. And you ain't got nothing to say. You don't want to talk to him? I would. He's going to be over my child. That school board is going to be over our children and what's going to happen with our children. It is time for us to get involved and with this.
I want to challenge you.
Challenge me.
So if I have a meeting, I want out in the community somewhere. I want you to help get people there.
I'll do that. You got my word. You got my word. I help get people there.
If we have meetings,
I definitely help get people
there because I can't listen to somebody that doesn't tell me anything.
What is your position on charter schools, and will you support a school citizen review board?
That's really funny because just yesterday, I guess it was Friday night, I get a text from somebody said that me and JT Carroll were behind this charter school thing. That's the first time I ever heard about it.
They definitely tried to throw you under the bus.
Oh my God.
But I think Anita Dawkins is somebody straightened me out real quick on that.
No, I haven't.
It was like, no,
nobody's ever, and I talked to him, and nobody's ever said anything to him about it. I mean, nobody's ever said anything to me about that. But I did go and do some research, and there was one thing misquoted yesterday. I'm not going to say by whom, but they said that the school board has no authority to vote on charter schools. That's not right. If you look at the Dothan City Schools, their policy for the board, they have the right to vote on charter schools. There's an authorizing committee, and that committee is made up of the board members. They have to go to training every year, and there's an authorizing group that includes the superintendent, different parts of the people who work in the school system, and other people. But it goes to the authorizing group first, and then it comes back to the board. I really wasn't, when they did all this back, I think it was in 2015 or 16, I was not for it because I felt like you're taking money away from schools. I felt like the School Choice Act, I felt like that was taking money from public schools. But because it is law, because it is things, then we've got to find a way to work with it if it does come up. Now, has it come up? I have no idea.
$13 million, and you're gonna give it to the same person that you just had problem with
No.
because it was so top heavy. It don't
Yeah.
make sense
No,
to
it
me
doesn't.
at all.
No,
So we just gonna
we
let
have-
him go and resign. We're gonna put him in a different position over charter school. We're gonna put somebody else as a just a figurehead. He's gonna run it.
You've got, if you're gonna do a
That
charter
sounds
school,
real crazy.
if you go to a charter school, you got to show me how it's gonna benefit the system, not
Exactly.
not the people that are running it.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
Exactly.
If it's gonna benefit the people that run it, no, I'm not for it. If it's gonna benefit kids in some way or another, disadvantaged kids, whatever you want to say, if it's gonna benefit kids, yeah. I mean,
So what about a citizens review board for the school board?
that's a good idea. I got one for the, I mean, it's fine with me.
You like it, huh?
Yeah.
What about technical schools? So you was the
Well-
one that came up with the idea and all that for the technical schools. What happened to the technical school?
The career tech school.
Yeah.
Well, and I do think that's one of our shining things right now, but it needs to be, it can continue to be expanded. While I was there, when I started in 1987, we had some great programs out there. Over the years, there was some funding taken away at the state level. That's come back, so it's been able to build back up again.
So the funding is back. For the
Yeah,
career tech
what they had is a separate line item, and I actually went to Montgomery to fight for keeping it under a separate line item.
Right.
And then that we lost that battle, and then but we've gotten it back since then. So the funding is better for career tech. Today at Rotary, I'm actually Ryan Richards, who goes over our career tech center, is going to be the speaker today, and he's does a wonderful job.
Awesome.
I do
Awesome.
think that is one of the best things we have done right now. I can say anything. There are a lot of good things in the school system, period. But that is one of the best things right there. I think we do a good job. You know, I taught there 25 years. My kids, listen, I went out to Qualico Steel the other day. I saw 5 of my kids. But not only that, they hired 9 kids this summer from the welding program. When I was out there, they told me those kids are not just out there learning a trade. They said they are production. They are producing. And that's impressive because the guy out there that runs the welding program out there. So we've got to communicate to kids. Welders make a lot more money than I do.
Right.
So I think in nursing, look at how many nurses we need. I was over at Dothan Christian Church the other day and sat down with 3 nurses, and they said they're about working them to death.
Oh,
Because
not
we need
only
nurses,
nurses
so
though.
we need
What
to
about doctors? We got a
Doctors,
shortage of
Yeah.
doctors and everything
yeah, we
going
got
on.
all that.
We need to look at, and I do want to talk about that road. I think I want to come back to it. But we need to look at with all the things going on with our children now. You being a person that's running for chairman, right? We need to look at the fact that the math, reading, all that was going on. We got it coming up.
Oh yeah.
It's coming up now, better than it was. But we need to look at where our educational system is better, because they looking down on us, some of them.
Okay.
And I don't like that. I hear that when I go there all the time. Legislators and everything. What's wrong with y'all? And I'm like, nah, they changing that. So I'm glad of what I see, because I see progress. How could you influence to help that be more progressive should you become
And
chairman?
that goes back to working with teachers, making sure they've got what they need.
But we got a shortage of teachers.
Oh, yeah, we have definitely shortage of teachers, making sure we have certified teachers. Again, it goes back to what I talked about in that book, Male Community. We got to make sure teachers feel loved. I mean, seriously, when you feel loved, you're going to stay where you are, right? I mean, you don't go somewhere. We got to make sure, and all this stuff online, it doesn't help anybody. All this Facebook stuff doesn't help anybody. If I'm reading all that crap on Facebook, I don't want to come work here. I mean, I would want to stay somewhere else. I mean, Dr. Gaskow's probably thinking, what am I looking at all this for? But I think, you got to overcome that. You got to overcome the negativity. We've got to have positive leadership. We got to have encouraging leadership.
I agree with you about overcoming the negativity. I'm an advocate. So my thing is, I have to address the negativity in order to get past it, to get to the solution.
That's right.
I ain't never seen a math problem that you solve until you get the problem.
That's right.
So you got to bring up the problem in order to get to the solution. So I'm kind of with you on that, putting it out there, but that's what I do. Put it out there.
That's he should, and believe me, I have no problem. The way to solve some of that is personal phone calls. I'm not going to, I don't want people to call me.
I don't do person.
I know. I'm saying I want people to call me.
Yeah, I ain't gonna talk about nobody's personal life. I want nobody in mind.
I don't be
We
bad.
talk about your office and politics
Right.
all day, but personal, I don't do
I
personal.
want people to call me personally is what I mean.
Yeah, I got you. I was just messing with you.
Okay. So I want people to call me personally and say, look, I do not like this going on. With all the stuff that's been going on with the school board, instead of attacking them online, what I do is call them personally. You know, whether it's got to do with a 5-year contract or whether it's got to do all those things, I call them personally and say, I don't like this. That's the way I do it. That's the way it should be done. They need to be told, but they don't need to be slammed. So.
Wes Grant, you got 4 minutes. Tell us why should people vote for you for chairman
Well,
of the school
it goes
board?
back to what I've done throughout my life, and that's what people. If you go back and you look at my career teaching, you look at my career as a teacher. I not only did I teach architecture and mechanical drawing, I also taught my kids how to be good citizens. If you go back and look at, I taught kids leadership. I taught them how to do job interviews. I taught them how to fill out applications. You'd be shocked. You might not be shocked. You'd be shocked at how many rental applications people can't fill out when they're trying to rent out from you. And I want people. I want these kids.
Wow, that's true.
Not only it's soft skills, and these are I'm talking about mainly just in high school. I had 4 students that were national officers because I just worked with them. Graham Ramsey, I don't know if you know him from Hart Ramsey's son. He was a national officer. Kevin Christopher was a national officer. Marcus Triplett and Rod McCurdy. They were all national officers. I tried to get these. I had 9 kids that were state officers. I had kids that competed in all these because there's only 2 slots for architecture and 2 slots for mechanical drawing. So what did I try to do? I tried to get these kids to go in other areas because I wanted to celebrate them. And in the process, they actually made me look good. I used to tell them, say, man, y'all make an old man happy because they made me look good. But I job interview, job information manuals, I made them do all of these things. And when I say I made, I asked them. But I pushed them. You got to push people to do the right thing. And you can't just stand behind it, ask them to do it, and then walk away. You got to push them to do the right thing.
Wes Grant, y'all. Wes Grant, chairman of Dothan City School Board. What would you say to people that are concerned about you being old Dothan and good old boy and all that kind of stuff? What would you? This is Dr. Dr.Glasgow is raw. Asking, we gotta ask him. She looking at me crazy. What do you say to people that say
I
that?
have no problem with that because you look at my family history, you look at my, and then look at what I've done all of my life. I have been out in the community, old enough, and I know what they're trying to say, but that's about racism.
I ain't quite figured it out yet.
Well, I hadn't either, and let me tell you, if you go back and look from talking about the industry earlier, from 73 to 81, they got Sony, Michelin. This was John Gladden and my dad and the other commissioners. They got Sony, Michelin, GE, Dunbar, and all those things to get those better jobs. We got to continue doing that because we do need better jobs, higher paying jobs. Service industry is great, but those are not high paying jobs. Service industry is a great place to start, but it's not the end. So we've got to teach people how to get these better jobs. I'm old enough, and that's fine. I actually tell you that as a compliment because I've stayed here long enough. I love that. My family's been in the same church since 1909, and I'm not going anywhere ever. I have opportunities. My dad actually offered me when I was getting ready to leave Auburn to graduate. I had an office in Auburn, and he asked me if I wanted to stay in Auburn. I said, no, I want to come back home. And that's what I did.
Wes Grant. I really appreciate you coming to our show, talking to us, and I'm extending you the same thing I extended to Josh when he was here. Should you win August 6th, you the chairman, school board, would you be willing to have deputy school board members, deputy chairs that can help you as a team besides the school board? You said you agree with a citizen review board, and I'm talking about deputies that work for you.
Actually, I've been really impressed with the pool of candidates for school board. So that's a good start
exactly
right there.
what I'm saying,
That's a
right
really good
there.
start right there. No, I have no problem having my own advisory committee. I need people to.
Exactly. You have a deputy chair board,
Yes.
deputy chairs for you that concern on these different parts and what you
Yes.
want to do.
I do 3 things that guide me: the Word of God, the Holy Spirit, and godly people. And that's what I would like to do. I'd like to have those type of people that have an interest in the school system helping me because I know they're leaning on the other 2 as well. So that is what I need.
Those of you that need help with housing, those of you that need help with trying to get housing, we got Wes Grant here. He's willing to help us. call us or call his office and get you some help and get you some housing. We got people out here that got vouchers. Can't get
I know
housing
that. I know.
from Sam.
I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
And I taught Sam Crawford's son.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then God bless you. Wes Grant,
Thank you.
this is Dr. Kenneth Sharp Glasgow. It is raw. The words, views, and opinions that you hear on this show, Dr. Kenneth Sharp Glasgow, it is raw, are not the words, views, and opinions of WKCG 99.1 FM or the Ordinary People Society. These are merely, and ain't nothing mere about them. The words, views, and opinions of me, myself, Dr. Kenneth Sharp Glasgow, my guests, and those that call in to the show. We're sitting here now with Dr. Childers.
Yes, sir.
And I'm calling the doctor today because we finna have some operations, some surgical discord, to say the least. One of the things I love about people like Dr. Childers, I got somebody to argue with me. Y'all don't like to argue. I love to get here up, argue a little bit. Dr. Childers, how you doing?
Doing good. Thanks, sir.
Man. First time I met you, man, I said, man, I thought you was crazy as hell. But I found out you're a good dude. But there's some stuff going on. Y'all got some mess. Ooh, y'all got a mess. What is y'all doing, man? Y'all got a mess going on, man.
Yeah.
Facebook wars and all kind of stuff going on. So tell me this, Doc. What's going on?
Well, I heard a little bit of what you were saying a second ago. It's, you got to confront it first, and it's been going on.
That's why I said it. You were right there. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's been going on, and we had to open the door and let people see what was going on. If it happens and no media's there and nobody hears about it, it may as well not happen.
Right, that's right. So how do you approach this issue? First of all, explain to everybody what's going on. Go ahead and tell them you got time in the world. Tell them what's going on. Why did you bring it out the way you did? And what was your meaning behind it?
I guess my first couple of years, I just thought people were confused. I thought maybe they didn't understand. They voted different ways and didn't realize, the facts. And maybe I wasn't able to make a good point. But then I started to realize, no, they probably understood what was going on. They just, that was not on their agenda. That was not, I made the comment a lot. It felt like I could have went and talked to every teacher, every student, every principal. I could have came back and told them what they all said, and we still voted different.
Right.
And I thought maybe there was confusion, but in the end, I realized there's not confusion, there's agenda.
Yeah, but the thing about it is this: when you got and people misconstrue things, because I be, and I sat up there, I watched what's going on with them voting for the first black superintendent, right? You threw the pen, rolled your chair back with the dramatics, and I'm like, wow, that ain't the same guy I just met, man. He acting like he mad because they just voted for black superintendent. What's going on? Then I had people calling me to try to give me background. What people see and hear is what they see and hear. We need to hear from you what was the reason for that. Because the reason, you got to look at what we looking at it, we looking at it from one perspective. Oh my God, is he against the black guy? And that wasn't your perspective from what I hear now from people like Reverend Lindenthal. But people need to hear you say what was your reason for that.
Yeah, so we did two things in that meeting. We voted for the superintendent. That was done. But then immediately we made what's it called, a rider motion or something. Mr. Strickland made a motion that we would bring in Mark Boardman as the attorney representing the school board. Well, we already have our attorney, Mr. Edwards and Fowler. They have been our attorneys. They would naturally represent us in the contract.
Now that is stop. I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's another thing I was confused on. And I had to come back and apologize. Because guess what? That's our attorney. Edwards and Fowler. There's no better and no more, I disagree on that point. And I had to go back and recant because I didn't know. I thought that Boardman was a black guy that they were trying to get, found out that he wasn't, and then found out that Edwards and Fowler was the school board attorney. So I was like, whoa.
So we're paying somebody else.
Those are our attorneys.
When they've got
okay. So you got upset about that. Go ahead.
To us, that name was familiar because when we did our contract negotiations with the previous superintendent, Mark Boardman was the attorney that represented the previous superintendent.
He represented Coke.
He represented Coke. And so back then, that was one of our earlier back and forth, a lot of disagreement. Some of us thought the contract should be this way, others were going another way. And so Bart Gordon was just named, we associated with the negativity that surrounded Coe's contract. And why would we bring him in to represent us?
When you just got rid of Cole.
So that was what the whole hand in there, whatever I did was. It was nothing.
So it didn't have nothing to do with.
No, that was passed.
Okay,
We just
okay,
immediately went to
okay.
that second motion.
All right. When Julie was on the show, she said that she was texting children. She was texting you when she was interviewing Dr. Askew, Miss Julie Mullins. Now she said that on the show that she was texting him while he was interviewing Dr. Askew and all that. One of the questions that people have is, why did she say that and what was the text about? Why would she be texting you as the chairman while you was interviewing Askew? They tell you certain questions to ask or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what she's referring to, but I know that when I'm in a board meeting and it gets a little chaotic or some of the things we've lived through, I can have a lot of missed texts because I'm up there. I may peek at my phone, but I don't have time to sit there and read and decipher what someone's saying. So I get lots of missed texts during board meetings, but I don't know quite what she's referring to there.
So first of all, let's get this. Before I even go to these texts or whatever, let's get people to understand what is the job of the chairman. What's the chairman of the board's job? Let's get people one-on-one first. So then we can try to ask questions. Because people texting me, but ask questions first. What is your job first?
So you really just conduct the meeting. Other than that, you're one of 7 votes. That's it.
So you do have the power to vote.
Oh, you can vote. Yeah, you're the tiebreaker. You could choose to take that role and vote every time, or you could choose to vote only at a time. It's your call.
Okay, and you run the meeting by Robert's rules of law.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the other thing I want to ask you is Brenda Guilford. Brenda Guilford was recommended by you, became the best top school board member of the state by you. I noticed that y'all relationship ain't the same.
Yeah.
And I know you don't want to get personal and all that, and I'm not asking you to, but what happened?
You know, me and Brenda used to talk many, many times a week and hours a week. Think a lot of her. But in the end, I got on this position for the kids in schools, Dothan. When she went a different direction, you know, and we kind of talk about that sometimes, that we would disagree. And she knows where I stand when it comes to, you know, my conviction on, you know, I'm not going to get anything out of this. You're never going to ever be able to say Scott Childers got something out of this school board thing. I won't tell you my little phrase that I say a lot, but when it comes down to it, if I'm volunteering my time and going through all this aggravation, I'm going to do what's right. And if I'm in disagreement with you, it's just going to be tough.
Some of the stuff that you posted on Facebook, the questions is that illegal? Because some of that stuff, is it considered confidential or not? I'm asking.
Yeah, now there is a, you know, you can imagine to control people, sometimes you program their minds and you tell them what's right and what's wrong, and, you know, be a team player and unity, all that good stuff, right? We all want that, but sometimes that's just telling you to be quiet and not speak out when you disagree. Sometimes that's just training you to, you know, just be a company man. So my first 2 years, I pretty much did that. I thought it was bad to speak out, but then I realized if it's not good name and character, personnel related, it's all public. I mean, you're supposed to know everything we know. All this contract stuff, everything we're going through is what Dothan citizens should know. Every single detail. None of it should be.
So it's not private, it's not
No.
confidential, none of that.
No, but we sure thought so in the beginning. As a new board member, you just hear what you're told, you go with it. You think I'm a team player if I just be quiet.
Tell us about Childers, man. What's up with Scott Childers? Who is Scott Childers? What motivates Scott Childers? You know, they done called you a bully. They done called you all kind of stuff. Now you done come to a point of being the person to divulge and expose and just like, hey, this ain't right and I ain't going no more. Tell us about Scott Childers.
Scott Childers, pretty boring guy. I really don't, you know, think Scott Childers has much to do with any of this. He's doing what he's led to do. I had a career in education. I had a career in business. I could be selfishly pursuing my business career now and not giving back, but
What's your
after
business?
25 years of construction, home building. But after 25 years of being a coach, a teacher, a principal, I'd be awfully selfish to just ride around my truck and build houses all day and not get back to Dothan. Just something I was glad to do.
I heard something that was real funny, right? I was talking, Reverend Lenny, to a couple of people, right? And of his persuasion. And I'm just messing with you. I gotta throw it in there. I wouldn't be me if I did. Anyway, and I said, yeah, man. I said, boy, that was the sweetest, slickest move I ever seen in my life. I told you that in my life. I said, you see how Scott slid over there in District 4, and because it wasn't no, he ain't got no opposition. He automatically secure. I said, and he slid out of chairman and got one of his friends to run for chairman. So guess what somebody said? Oh, he was scared to run against West Graham. What do you say to that? Say he was scared to run against West Graham. I'm like, what?
I remember what he told me at the forum.
Big as that guy, he don't look like he's scared of the guy. No, but
I
anyway,
remember what he said at the forum that, I went to run for 4 because I wanted not to just have a voice, but a vote. And we just learned today that the chairman can vote, which means that this whole time you could have voted to sway whatever way you wanted, but you chose not to.
Well, it wasn't that he
We
chose
never
not to, he
had-
was taught not to.
Well, no, I mean, I don't know.
Unless
if
it
we
was
ever
on top of
had
it.
a 3-3 scenario. We
Oh,
always had 4,
Right.
so there was 2, and then my vote would be umbrella.
Okay,
So we never had the
okay.
3-3
So
thing.
you
It's
never
always
had-
been 4.
So it's never been a time of
Yeah,
reason for
no,
you to
no,
vote
no.
as a
So, I
top
mean,
rated.
And there
Okay.
are times I have
Okay.
voted.
Okay, that's good. 4 and 2. You would have made
Yeah.
3, so it wouldn't have mattered.
Gotcha.
So with all this stuff going on now, right? How do you? I mean, how do you foresee you ain't even worried about the election. You secure. You are District 4 school board member, so you're gonna be there. How do you foresee y'all coming together and unified behind all this, huh? Because y'all over our children. And we looking at y'all fighting, we like, they over our children. Oh my God, what the hell? How do you foresee y'all? I'm sorry, y'all. Go ahead.
So I could care less about me in any of this. If I didn't get on the board, my life would be a lot easier. I'd be just, every day, nothing
So
to
why
worry,
do you do
something to worry about. So well, it's what when you're called to do it, it's service.
You
and
doggone
it's-
right. When God calls you, you ain't got no
Dothan.
choice.
It's we can be so much better than we are. I may go back and blame my high school. I went to a great high school and I had a great experience, and I've lived in a lot of or through a lot of good educational things. And when you see things that aren't where they could be, and this is Dothan, we should be one of the best school systems in the country. We fall short, and we fall short because of adults. We don't fall short because of kids. We fall short because of decisions and complacency. And the sad thing is, in 20 years, a lot of people just started to accept this is how it is, that we're no better than this, that this is just Dothan. No. Go back to the 80s and 90s what Dothan was. Oh my gosh, I wasn't even living here, but I was hearing about it.
So can I ask a question?
Go ahead, sir.
So because I know you're probably gonna get to it. I hope I'm not getting to you.
No, go ahead.
So tomorrow, it's tomorrow night, right? Tomorrow night, it's like, this is like WWE Raw.
Yeah, it's gonna be live and then covered tomorrow night, and
like,
people are trying to figure out, are they going to the school board meeting or are they going to this debate?
tables, ladders, and a chairs match.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's over because it's being said that we need to protect the new first African American superintendent from being derailed before he's even brought in.
But they say Childress is leading that.
That's what I'm going. That's what I'm going.
That's what they say. He's the
Look at
one
who
leading.
they are, and you will start to figure things out.
Right,
Just
and
look
that's
who
where
they
I'm
are.
going. Because one thing that I learned from you, my father, in the past, when you hear something, you just don't take their word. You go direct it to the source.
Oh yeah.
So, and he knows.
Oh yeah. That's one thing I'm gonna do now.
Yeah, I call him directly. and ask him what is the issue, and that's one of the reasons that you wanted him to come on, so he can
Exactly.
explain what is the issue with the contract and why don't we want
Exactly.
5 years, because that's the biggest.
That's the biggest issue.
That's the biggest. Why don't we want to give
Exactly.
this man 5 years?
Exactly.
So, like, I've had, and I know that past history, and I went and did the research. The normal is a 3-year contract for a superintendent. That is the norm. Outside of the one before Cole, she did have a 5-year contract. So
I was just going to say they had a 5-year
that-
before that.
right before Cole.
Okay.
She was the first, I
Yeah.
think, and the
Phyllis,
last.
I think
She was the
Phyllis had
first.
a
She was the first and the last based on research that I did. I couldn't, may not went back further.
Mhm.
So why is it that some don't want, including yourself, to give him a 5-year contract, and now it's viewed as we want to make his life
They want to derail the black
the
superintendent.
black
First black
superintendent. So can you speak to that?
Speak to that.
I would say that it's the whole process. It was the fact that we came out the gate asking for doctorates and all this stuff. Then we immediately found a search committee. The search committee did all the work. We never even got to see who applied for the job. I'm board chairman. I do not know who applied for the job. We eliminated all these local people. Many African Americans could have applied. Then search committee makes the decision. We had nothing to do with it. Y'all elected us, 7 people capable of making a decision, interviewing people and make a decision. And then we bring in another attorney to negotiate the contract. So when you put all that together, it's just a series of chaos that no one would justify that. None of that makes sense. We may end up with the best superintendent we've ever had. But the process, and when I talked to Dr. Askew, we've told him these things. It has nothing to do with you. You come over here and win us over and be the man and be the best Dothan's ever had. But it's this process that we've been fighting.
So it's not the contract. It's the thing. It's not the 5-year contract as much as it is the things that the citizens doesn't know about that's embedded in the contract.
Well, even the contract, we brought in the board men. I thought we would be at the next board meeting and we would all kind of share ideas on the details. But no, he put it out there. Here's the terms of the contract. Really?
Who put it out there?
The attorney, board man. Our perspective in the contract.
So
was
the
written
school
by
board
him.
didn't have no
We have
input whatsoever.
not one word. We'll go to the board meeting.
So that's your whole
And that'll
problem
be
right
my
there,
first
that they overlooked the
participation.
board.
So how are you going to elect me on the board and
Yeah.
I have nothing to do with the process?
And so from my understanding is
Wow.
Boardman contract is the same. He put the same contract together that he did for Cole, which you guys had some
Well,
issues with.
and you
that.
have, this world of having hidden things in the contract,
Mhm.
and that's supposed to be normal, but they don't have to be normal. We don't have to have hidden stuff in the contract where you look up a superintendent and his pay looks like this, but it's really this.
Well,
Why
the
can't we be
hidden things in the
transparent?
contract is that they get top heavy on the money that goes toward the salaries and all for certain folks. And then other certain folks like me go to prison for not taking the salary. So, that's just hidden contract. But one of the things that I want to ask you, Mr. Childers, while you're here, is what happened with Charles Corbin? I hear you and 2 or 3 other people on the board said it was hollering that night, we want somebody local, we want somebody local, we want somebody local. Well, why wasn't Charles Corbin chosen in the final 2?
Yeah, he wasn't. I mean, he just wasn't.
Wow.
Votes were to the others.
Yeah. There's another problem that's coming up that I need to ask you about and talk about. I'm live on the air, sir, but I do want you to listen. We got some history that is displaced or moving or something like that. And that history is gone, especially this gentleman here. And I'm trying to figure out for the life of me, when I went and looked up his, I went and looked up A.C. Allen, I went and looked up the guys before Jones, I went and looked up anybody before Brendan. All that's gone. Not on Google, not on Dothan Eagle, not on WTPY, none of that. I know you're finna go into the race. I know you're finna transition this, but before you leave as chairman, Could you find out what they did with that? Because that's like just erasing somebody's legacy. Period. It is gone, man.
We've done plenty of that, yeah. And
Oh, you know that that's happening.
well, I know of the, when we consolidated the schools, the big trophy thing, and how that was a big situation.
Wow.
Now, I can tell you, as board members, we didn't have anything to do with it. I know I didn't anyway, but I would agree that's crazy that you can't see the history, because the history is what we got that's so great around here.
Let me ask this question, because.
And this was the first black board chair. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Jones.
Yeah. His was going to blow your
And
mind.
it's gone.
His was blow your mind too. And I just heard this from somebody that was at this meeting from the last election of the superintendent. From my understanding, Cole got in and they didn't even go through the process of interviewing the rest of the people. They just picked him.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Well, that's exactly what we heard. Hey, Papa. That's exactly what we heard as well.
There was no process with Cole. They just
So the thing about it is, so what you're saying, Mr. Children, is that you're mad with the process and the way things are going.
Yeah, what I've learned is 4 votes on the school board has no accountability. That's it. 4 votes. There's no state level. There's no body that comes in.
But by you going in District 4 and then put your friend on the chairman, that's to get your 4 votes.
We're trying to get 4 votes.
Okay, then, so that's the strategy, but at least you admit it.
4 votes will be, these 4 votes, if it's, the way that I wish, will be absolute integrity, and you'll never see us getting anything out of it.
Man, don't make me have to come fight y'all, man, about them 4 when you stacking them votes over there. Hey, y'all, because most of them children that go in Dover City schools, black children, man. Now you're gonna have to have some black input there because y'all ain't never been black. Y'all don't know what we go through. Y'all don't know about the 43% poverty rate over here.
I know more
I
on
think a part of his 4 votes is black.
Hey.
Part of the 4 votes is black?
Yeah. He said if he gets his way, the 4 votes. 2 of the votes, I'm sure, that you have in mind are going to be black.
Oh, I want 7. I want all 7.
But I'm saying,
take a chance.
but at least 2 of the votes that you're vying for will be black. Two of them will be black.
And I don't care about black. I don't care about any of that. I care about integrity. I want people who are going to sit there and vote by what's right, by Dothan, the kids, the schools. I don't care what color. I know that's an issue, but it ain't mine. I want integrity.
Well,
that's my issue.
they keep it as an issue to keep us distracted from what's going on. That's when we throw it up as an issue. And I think, and I'm learning. And, I'm really learning. 31 years doing advocacy work. You know what I learned? White people would throw up the racism issue in black people's ears to get them drunk up to say that so they can get them distracted from what's going on because they already have an agenda set. And that's what exactly. So the thing to you is this. As a chairman, you still the chair. So you stay the chair for how long? October. So in these last couple of months that you got left, what are you trying to see done and put in place before you become District 4?
I will, Brenda Guilford is the chair right now. She's the one driving the ship. She's got the 4, and they're doing what they want. There's no role that I have as far as.
So why you say she's the chair right now?
Well, maybe that's my suspicion.
Okay, go ahead.
But I know Brenda, and I know how strong she is, and I know that.
So why can't we get you and Brenda together?
And so as a chairman, well, talk to Miss Brenda.
All right,
but as a chairman, and being on the minority side, there's no thing that I can accomplish. It doesn't mean anything. I just get to announce and get the little gavel thing. That's what I do.
And then you got Strickland and what's her name, Michelle? Michelle that's voting with her and Franklin Jones.
Melanie.
Melanie, I'm sorry. Strickland and Melanie. What can we do as the community to help in a situation? Do you agree with the citizen review board for the school board? Yes or no?
I would think that's what we are. I mean, we're the board. We're there for you to call us when you have problems, and we're the ones to put the accountability on them. We should be carrying that responsibility. But I'm not familiar. There may be something specific you're saying with the
So he's going to talk to you about it more in detail.
Yeah.
But it's just to add to have an ad hoc committee along with y'all to make decisions and help.
Well, I would know whoever it is. They could call me anytime, and I'd sit down with them.
So what's your biggest beef now? What can we do now?
Get the election right. That's all I care about. I want 4 to 7 people that you know are going to vote with integrity, with
So what's
nothing to
gonna
gain.
happen Tuesday? What's gonna happen Tuesday night, man? What are we looking at? Are we looking
No,
at a
Tuesday,
big fight? Are we
no,
looking
no,
at a
no.
WWE?
I can tell you, Tuesday is a discussion about the superintendent contract. It's going to end up being a vote, and it's going to be over.
And whoever wins the vote, that's
Well,
what happens.
that'd be it. Yeah, 4 people will determine that.
So, and then one of the things that you're saying is, let's hold off the vote to at least get the new, see if a new, school board
Yeah.
members come in, because that way they're not fighting an uphill battle.
Okay, hold on. I know I'm confused, so I want to make sure everybody else ain't confused with me. When you say hold off the vote, are you talking about hold off the vote for the superintendent? He's already voted.
What I'm saying is the contract.
So what vote are you talking about? The contract?
To accept the contract, the
Okay.
terms of the contract.
So that's why they're saying that he's trying to prevent or derail the superintendent from coming in, because if there's no contract, then there's no black superintendent, sir. And that's what people are talking about. You understand what I'm saying? People are not talking about him and his integrity, this and that and the other. People are not talking about children being raised this and that. They talking about if he hold off the contract or get 4 votes to hold off the contract, then guess what? We have no superintendent. Am I correct, sir?
Judging from the past couple months, that's not going to happen, though. Those 4 votes are going to.
But we
vote
can
in-
say judging that, but
But yes, all this should have waited till the next board from the start. It should have been the next board. Every other system would have done that.
but every time we do that, we lose the superintendent. Look what
No,
happened
from
with
the
Miss
start,
Phillips.
from
We
the
did it
start.
with her, and boom, she stayed there gone. The one before her, we did the
Yeah,
same
but
thing.
here's the
gone.
thing. You find a local person that ain't going anywhere. You find a local person
But
that
the
we know
best
that we
fitting
trust.
local
that
person
we already-
was Dr. Corbett, and he ain't even in the running. So I mean, you know, and that's just my opinion now. And it ain't that I just love Dr. Corbett. I just study what y'all do, and I study who's been there, and I study who's local, and I love homegrown people.
Yeah, we got several though. We got several. We have.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, Dustin likes who was that lady? That lady, Kathy. Yeah, he talks about another lady, man. That lady,
Judy Thomas.
Judy Thomas. Is baby, and I really looked at her. She ain't got that. She got more credentials than anybody else without the doctor.
Well, yeah. So
You know,
we
and they
have no
slid
team.
that doctor thing in on your boy too to keep him from being chief of police. Keith Gray. So you know, did you agree with the doctor thing or not?
Oh no.
Um,
Well documented.
Okay. So we're at time. I want to hear the last and final words. We got children here, y'all. Y'all ain't call me and y'all ain't had nothing to say. I'm listening to you. Huh?
You won't have me back, huh?
Why not?
Nobody called me.
No. They talking, they calling,
okay,
they calling, they schedule,
okay,
they
okay.
believe me, they come in,
I got
and
you.
you don't hear them, but they text them, they mad. All these texts, just see the
You know,
blue lights,
but
they text.
none of those texts, if they're negative, are going to say, yeah, he's getting something out of this. He's scamming. None of them are going to say that.
No, none of them gonna say that. But in your last and final words, before you get to your last and final words, I gotta ask you this one question. What do you think about this defamation thing going on with Julie Mullins? What do you think about
Definitely,
it?
what is it?
So Ms. Brenda Guilford did a cease and desist defamation for stuff that
Okay.
Julie Mullins was posting.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't really know. I mean, she told me she got a cease and desist, but that's all I know.
I think I need to get you and Ms. Guilford together. I might want to get y'all in the seats right
I would
here.
tell you what, Miss Guilford needed me right now, I'd be there. That's on a personal level. If she needed me, I would be there. That's no doubt about it. And I think she would too.
So y'all just
But on the
disagree
level
on the
of-
process.
On the level of school board control and the decisions they're making versus what I would do, we're complete opposite right now. And that's just what it is. But I didn't get on this board to be Mrs. Guilford's friend. I got on this board to serve Dothan. And that trumps friendship.
He had to say Trump then. He talking about my poster child. Don't talk about my poster child. Last
Yeah.
final words. Man.
I just want to get the election right. Dothan completely yes, it's a good town, and yes, unity sounds good, and we all want unity, but we want Dothan to be where it's supposed to be. We don't want to sell short. We don't want to become, we're a top 10 economy. We're one of the strongest places, and we're set to grow because of our location, and what we have here to offer is going to continue to grow, but it can't do it without a great school system.
Well,
And if we fix our schools, if we make our schools as good as the top 10 economy it is, everything changes. Everything changes.
so the only thing that you have against the contract is the 5 years, and the reason they didn't go through y'all for the process.
And the
Well,
supplements
we still got
In the,
hidden.
in the what?
The supplements in.
We're still
What
supporting.
supplement? The money?
We still have hidden things
Yeah.
that we're talking about.
What's
We
the
still
hidden
have
thing? Break it
charter,
out. What's the hidden thing?
like living. There's I think $1,800 a month living expense. There is this charter school authorizer stuff.
Charlie, whoa.
That's $8,000.
So there's all these
Charter
things that are
school.
hidden. Why can't we be transparent? Why
So
can't we
do
just
you
put it out
agree with
there?
this charter school thing?
No.
$13 million,
No.
they're gonna give it to code and all? Well, I mean,
Well,
give it to somebody.
I think all this publicity's probably blown that out of the water now. So that's worked out good.
What-
Be hard to pull it off
Oh,
now.
so some doing a good job.
Yeah, you're doing good.
All right. This is Dr. Glasgow, where it is raw than you ever saw before, something that you can't ignore. Make you want to listen more and more because you never know what we have in store with Scott Childress in Reverend Leonard in the house, Eugene, that is. We're going to have to move on out the way. Something I adopted from my mentor, Ron Wilson. My time is up. Thank you for yours. God bless you.